finished with a clean game yesterday, not turning the ball over or getting sacked in the 38-10 win over Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Brady finished the game with 166 yards through the air and a pair of touchdowns to go along with a passer rating that was just a tick below 105. So, Shannon, can you give Brady a letter grade for me, please?
Let's give my game a C.
A C?
A C.
Well, wait a second.
Whoa.
You gave Tom Brady for completely outplaying Aaron Rodgers? 96 QBR to 18 QBR, a C?
You got to see, he played great for one quarter. Skip, in the second quarter, he was 12 of 14 for 96 yards. But in the other three quarters, he was 5 of 13 for 70 yards. Is that good?
Yeah, pretty good, actually.
Really?
It's what needed to be done. Did he throw two touchdowns?
No, whoa.
Did he throw any pick sixes like Aaron threw two?
Hold on.
No.
I said he played great for one quarter. The second quarter, he was 12 of 14 for 96 yards.
Well, how about the totality? How about 17 of 27?
Okay. Is that good?
Yeah.
17-27 is good.
Yeah,
166 yards.
Yeah.
No, you asked me how Tom Brady played, not the team. So for Tom Brady, I gave him a C because if you look at the second quarter, he was outstanding. But the other three quarters, he was pedestrian. He was below pedestrian. 5 of 13, 70 yards. Skip, they were not great on third down. So with that being said,
They were 42%, which is pretty good.
No, they ain't pretty good. No. You need to be in the high 40s, maybe even 50. But that's neither here nor there, Skip. He was not asked to do a whole lot. Let this thing in, Skip. He had 27 passes for 166 yards, which the 166 yards was a season low. The yards per pass attempt was a season low. So the defense were great. The run game was exemplary. Tom Brady was average. He was asked to do a small task. He did it. But let's not pretend like he went out there and threw for 370 yards like he pulled a Ryan Tannehill yesterday. He didn't. Or like he did a Phillip Rivers like they were behind by 21 and he come back and win the game. That's not what he did, Skip.
Did he have any turnovers?
Skip.
No. Did he get sacked?
No.
Did he commit any penalties? Did his offense commit any penalties?
Skip.
No. They had zero for the whole game.
So when the offensive line holds, that's Tom Brady. Tom Brady made him not hold.
You've got to get rid of the ball on time.
Skip, that wasn't even close. He didn't get touched.
Who is the leader of this team? It's Tom Brady. So he had them ready to play their biggest game of the year.
How about this, Skip? I'm a teacher of the class. I have an A student. I'm not giving you an A just for showing up. You're going to have to put the work in. I'm going to have to see something that you did. Tom Brady didn't do much. He showed up for class, Skip. So, excuse me, stop this notion. 5 of 13 for three quarters. 5 of 13. If I told anybody else, there was a guy that was 5 of 13 for 70 yards in three quarters. You're like, he's terrible. Who is that guy? He should have been benched.
Should have been benched?
If I just told you somebody
what if I told you a guy had the best QBR of the weekend, a 96, better than anybody else who played?
Yeah.
What would you say?
If he completed.
Would you give him a C for that?
Yeah. 166 yards.
96?
Really?
He didn't do anything wrong. No. He was flawless against a team that you told me coming in was the best team in the NFC. You told me that this defense would be all over him, that the Smith brothers would just devour him and spit him out.
I thought they would pressure him better than what they did, and they did not.
So you've told me that he's senile, that he's a washed-up, noodle-armed quarterback.
I didn't say senile.
So for senile, washed-up, noodle-armed, at age 43, to go 17 of 27 for 166, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no penalties, no sacks, no nothing. 96 QBR, you give that a C.
That was very Tebow-esque.
Huh? Was it?
Yeah, very Tebow-esque. Really? 17 to 27 for $1.66.
Yeah, but Tebow would have run for 100.
So is that what we're doing now? So now the standard is, as long as the quarterback wins, we good. Is that what I'm hearing? Because I know there are a lot of quarterbacks that even though they've lost their job because they won, but they weren't winning in the style or the fashion that the coach thought was moving forward would be beneficial. Skip, 5 of 13 for three quarters for 70 yards. He did that. What did he do in the second half, Skip? 3 of 12 for 55 yards.
Okay, and what about the deep throw to little Scotty Miller that was the dagger? That was the exclamation point on the day. Do you remember that throw?
No, I
don't know if we have that. I think we do have it. Believe it or not, is this is this arm strength? That's a perfect throw to Scotty Miller, which forced a foul, which forced bad pass interference because he was so beaten by Scotty Miller, who runs like 4.3. And that gave him first and goal at the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was the 38-10 touchdown. That was the final score. Well, does that count? It doesn't count on your yardage,
No.
right?
Yep, no,
okay.
no.
So you're going to give him something for that?
No.
Huh? Oh, how did he get the ball to fly that far in the air at age 43? I don't know. You tell me he doesn't have any arm left.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, Skip, we're going to base it on the totality of the game. And then he didn't play good in the first quarter. He didn't play good in the third or the fourth quarter. He had an outstanding second quarter, which he was 12 of 14, 2 touchdowns, 96 yards.
Okay, but the game was over at halftime, so in the second half, they're just going to pound Rojo.
No.
Yeah.
So hold on. So nobody has, I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So nobody has ever come back from a score of 28-10 in NFL history.
Well, I told you that your man Aaron Rodgers had turned into Kirk Cousins. He was bamboozled. He was dizzy. He was spinning.
Look, first of all, do not mention Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins in the same.
Well, he looked like Kirk Cousins to me.
He had a bad game. It happens.
Well, he couldn't bounce back. He threw almost 2 straight pick sixes, and he just folded up.
I mean, like you remember your guy
caved in.
You remember your guy
lost it.
You remember your guy opening day against the Saints? He couldn't bounce back.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
Well, he kept him in the game.
No, he didn't keep him in nothing. They lost.
Nothing bothers this guy.
They lost.
Huh. Well, they're now 4-2, which is pretty great.
It was the Saints.
Yeah, they were off. So I think my team's in first place now.
Only because y'all played one more game than the Saints did.
Okay, so I'm going to give Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. an A for yesterday because that was a masterful performance. And what I loved about it was he went double-barrel GOAT on you. He went GOAT to GOAT. He went Brady to Gronk. 5 times for 78 yards. All the biggest throws of the game went to Gronk. And yet he slipped in the one bomb to little Scotty Miller. No risk it, no biscuit. And you say he can't throw bombs. And I've seen him throw bombs all year long.
Oh, how many of them completed? How many of those bombs he completed?
Well, they keep setting up big pass interference. And unlike college football, where it's just 15 yards, it's a spot foul. So you get 40 that doesn't count on your yardage total. And that did you in yesterday because that was ball game for you. 38-10.
I mean, think about it. As bad as Aaron Rodgers played, Tom Brady passed for 6 more yards than Aaron Rodgers. And you gave him an A.
Well, because he was 17 of 27, and Aaron Rodgers completed, what, 46% of his passes? That's horrendous.
Let this sink in.
16 of 35?
On the season, Tom Brady had a season low for yards and a season low for yards per attempt.
Well, you told me he was up against the best defense he's seen.
I didn't say the best defense.
You did.
I said
the best pass rush.
I said they were good. I don't think they're Chicago. Obviously, I don't think they're Chicago. It's one game. Okay, but considering that they lost against Chicago and you gave him an A, so I didn't expect you to give him anything but an A.
Well, considering you said 4 years ago it's time for him to go home.
No.
Call it a career.
I said it's time for him to leave New England.
Oh.
I said, leave. And I told you.
I think you said it's time for him to hang him up.
Skip, look, the days of Tom Brady carrying a team, that's over. They're carrying him. You know that. I know that.
I don't know that. He was masterful yesterday.
That defense. Skip, stop.
I don't know many other quarterbacks who would have won this game.
What?
Yeah.
With the defense playing like that?
Come on. You have to light them up. When it's time to light them up, he just lit them up in the second quarter.
Skip.
They won the second quarter 28-0.
Think about what you just said. You just said the Tampa defense made Aaron Rodgers the greatest thrower of the football, a 2-time league MVP, the greatest touchdown to interception ratio guy in NFL history. You said the defense made him look like Cousins. And you tell me no other quarterback could have did what Brady did yesterday? Stop it.
Whew. Thrown to the GOAT tight end. Think about the degree of difficulty. You said he's washed up. You said it a number of times on this show.
Skip, it's one
You've called him a spaghetti arm.
It's one game. They played well as a unit. But if you thought Brady's performance yesterday was A, you're sadly mistaken. I've seen A performances, and that wasn't it.
Okay, well, he was just 2 games ago the NFC Offensive Player of the Week with 5 touchdown passes to 5 different teammates, and you still won't give him any credit.
Let me ask you a question. So what was he the week after against Chicago?
That was the best pass rush they faced.
What was he?
They were all over him.
He the GOAT. Now, hold on. So was he not the GOAT? Was it a different Tom Brady? Did he have on 12? Was that Tom Brady? Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.?
Well, what about the faux GOAT yesterday? Once you see him under fire, Brady's better under fire than Aaron Rodgers ever thought about being.
First of all, the real GOAT had the trophy, the Larry O'Brien trophy in Vegas, walking around the streets, walking around the strip in Vegas. That's what the GOAT had.
Jordan was in Vegas?
No, Jordan, I ain't talking about no Jordan. I'm talking about the one that smoking on them cigars,
Really?
the great sticks.
Boy,
he was in Vegas.
You know, they're not good for you.
He was. Oh, look, hey, my guy's going in the year 18. Well, actually, theoretically, they should say year 19 because last year bled into this year. So it should be year 19.
Well, it sure looks like Brady is playing at least as well as LeBron has been playing.
Skip, if you don't stop this foolishness, you know good and well.
43 years of age?
Skip, the man just averaged 30, 12, and 9 for an NBA Finals game. Really, Skip?
Well, you want to talk about the easiest path to a ring? Unlike the other LA team that plays baseball that's had a tough path to a ring.
Really, Skip?
Well, how about Braves? How about Tampa? Those are really good teams. So now we have the two best teams in baseball meeting for the championship of baseball. And unfortunately, in basketball, we did not have that.
Because this is what happens when you have the teams live up to what they were and the expectations. The Rays and the Dodgers were the best teams in the shortened season, the 60 games. Those were the two best teams.
They were.
And so when you have teams that meet the expectations and not talk about it, you didn't see Kershaw taking those shots at Snell. You didn't see nobody taking shots at somebody else, talking about Kawhi Town. It's abandoned. You see what happened? Ever since he said that, you look what happened. 2020 has been a disaster, thanks to him. And now he talking about he need a point guard. Now he's quietly seething. Quietly I hear about he being selfish. You don't want to talk about that, but we're going to talk about it next year. They're going to come a point in time, we're going to have to address Mr. Leonard.
LeBron better be careful in Vegas.
Well, for what?
Ooh, he's riding high.
Yeah, right.
You know, you can get in trouble.
He ain't gonna get no trouble. He ain't gonna get no trouble. We got that trophy. Hey, excuse, come on in, sir. We champs. I should be right there with you. I should be the five horsemen. We should be celebrating. Me, Randy, Mal, Rich, and Braun.
You should have been there yesterday, and you wouldn't have had to watch this disaster for your man Aaron Rodgers.
Did you get the invite?
It was a disaster.
It was. Thank you.
I'm feeling good because Aaron Rodgers got to throw the hand of a touchdown. He hit that McCrinkleberry on him.
We need to talk about a different quarterback, guys. One of Michael Vick's NFL records was tied yesterday by Lamar Jackson. So, Michael, join us to discuss after the break.
No